Welcome to this week's episode of The Providers. I've got Mr. Matt Godown hanging out with me this week. Matt, how you doing?
Good. How's everybody else doing?
They're all doing great. They're listening to the podcast.
Yeah, I hope so.
So we're hanging out down at Matt's here in Ohio for the week. Not for the week, but for this week's
Weekend.
episode.
Yeah.
And for the weekend. And we're going to talk about a great spot that Matt and I found on one of Matt's properties that he's got permission on, that therefore led to me having permission on, and just kind of a magic stand set that we've located, and it's produced for us the past couple of years. Then we're going to dive into a couple of funny stories of some of our past hunts down here, and it's going to be a fun and entertaining episode, that's for sure. If you like hearing about buck kills, make sure you're tuning into this one.
I don't want to miss it.
Nothing cures a troubled mind like leaving boot prints in the mud. As that crisp morning air stands up your neck of hair and your adrenaline starts to flood. When you're a provider, you understand the things the woods can do. How you can lose yourself in the things that you love, but you can find yourself in them too. Yeah, with a hard working, hard hunting, freeze a fair land providers. Yeah, with a hard working, hard hunting, freeze a fair land providers.
Who doesn't love making a delicious meal for their family? Smokin' at Smokers allow you to do just that. Simply set the settings and walk away, only to come back hours later to have a delicious meal waiting for you. Smokin' at Smokers, when only the best will do.
So how's it going?
Good. Hot, but good. A little sweaty.
That's right. Well, we're back in the mobile studio again, hanging out with Matt from Ohio, good buddy of the Providers. Known Matt for 11 years now, and we're talking prior to this about the property that I come down and hunt with him every year. It's a property that he has permission on, and I want to preface this by saying I feel like this does not happen in Michigan, and by this I mean landowner who has a sweet piece of property. He's a hunter, and he's friends with Matt, and he knows that Matt has a friend from Michigan who comes down, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you come hunt the property too?" And I'm like, that doesn't happen in Michigan. Like,
No.
Everybody's so protective of everything, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of the same way about my Michigan property. But Perry is awesome because
Really good guy.
Perry's known Matt, and he's been nothing but welcoming to me. It's not like a, hey, come hunt the property, I don't think there's many deer, whatever. It's like, hey, Greg, come hunt the property, and let me show you this picture of this huge deer, and let me show you this picture of this huge deer. And he's not being protective of them. He's like, shoot one of them.
He's like, go right over here because that's where he's at.
Yeah, and if I do kill something, he's ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
Like, it's so awesome having that kind of a person to work with on this property. So you've been out there for how long?
First year I hunted that property, but probably 7 years, probably.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then I'm probably on year 4 or 5.
Yeah, probably.
And when we first started hunting it, we had permission because of the way the fence row was that we could hunt on the far south side of a huge field. And that tended to be where you like to be. There was a cool tree over there. It's a deer cut in the corner of that field.
Yeah. That, and we were just trying to respect, because Perry was hunting
North.
the north side and had one other guy in there. So we were just excited to have a place to hunt, let us just come in and do what we want to do. So we were like, we'll just stay on this side of the woods. So
And
we
we
did that for a while.
we were hunting more of the fringes of a really big ag field, but it had a finger that came out in it, and it had some cool stuff to it. But we were trying to hunt the edges, right? And then it was 3 years ago we started getting a little more aggressive into pushing in. But last year when I came in for my early October hunt, you and I were talking and we were like, there's got to be something going on down by this creek bottom, right?
We kept seeing hearing deer because we did finally come on this side of the field of the big field that we were on. We came into the south side of the wood line, and had to stand right in that corner. We just kept hearing stuff behind us constantly. We're like, what the heck is going on down there? So we were coming out one day, and I was like, we just got to walk down here and just see what. There's got to be something going on down here. So I think we literally walked down the middle of the creek, didn't we?
For the most part, yeah, because we were trying to figure, we were like, the deer have to be crossing the creek somewhere. So I think really what initially we were looking for is where is that crossing in the creek where you could see the bank beat down on both sides, And we were like, well, this will be non-intrusive because we're not tramping through the woods down in the creek bottom, and we're just kind of meandering our way along, and come to find out a couple of the main trails ran parallel to the creek.
There's one that we found is like literally just on the edge of the creek. And we're like, it's beat down. I mean, literally beat down highway. And we're like, how do we not know this was here? And so I think we even kind of jumped up on that trail for a minute and just started following it.
Yep. And we went down further and we got to a spot that we were like, well, this is kind of cool because there's a little bit of a clearing. There was definitely some opportunities to get maybe 30 some yard shots. The other part that was cool about it is the creek runs through the center of the woods, and it's kind of the pinch point of the woods if you look at it on an aerial map. So we were like, okay, it's got to be a decent funnel coming down through here.
And there was an area of it that was dammed up with like a bunch of wood that had made a kind of like a natural dam in that area. And we're like, well, we got to get up around this. So literally we're climbing up around that. And that's when I think you were like, dude, buck, buck, buck.
It was a good buck. Like it wasn't a year and a half old buck. It was a good buck that jumped up on the other side of kind of that dammed area. And it was, we both kind of looked at each other and said, well, I guess we got the right feeling.
Yeah. And then we started walking down and we're like, this is obviously his bedding area. Like you could just tell there was a bunch of logs like naturally washed up into a stack. And right behind there was a huge area just matted down. You could just tell deer just get up in there and lay. And it was almost like he designed it, the buck or whatever, because there was 2 exit points. One he could just cut out to the left and go, and the other one straight out ahead of him. It was perfect, way to get out of there. So we're like, we got to get in this area because there's obviously a nice buck bed in here that he, feels really safe right there. And we just seen one live, so we're like, there's got to be something here. So
I can't remember the exact dates, but I think it was the day before I was getting ready to leave. And so we grabbed a set of sticks, as we're both saddle hunting by this point. So we grabbed a set of sticks, found a tree, which was awesome because of the way the curve in the creek bottom went with the dammed up area. We're right by the dammed up area, but the way the tree was, you could actually look like right straight down the center of the creek bottom, 50, 60 yards, which is where there was some travel areas that we saw on our way down to there. So just spot up and we're like, this is going to be sweet. Like, this is going to be really good. And I think got done doing all that, and I packed up and back to Michigan.
Well, I think you hunted that night. That was in the morning. So October 6th, you hunted that evening.
Okay, before I drove home.
Yep, you hunted that new set. And
I saw something too.
You talked about hunting the next morning, and some reason, something you was like, I'll go ahead and get back.
Yep.
I'm like, well, I'll just come hunt it tomorrow morning.
How'd that work out?
It worked out pretty nice. I thank Greg every time for leaving early. So yeah, that next morning, I'm up in that set and sitting there, and not too much after daylight, I look over and I'm like, what's going on? I see 2 little bucks fighting. I'm like, oh, this is cool. So I pull the camera up. I'm filming these 2 little bucks fighting, and it goes on for a minute, and then all of a sudden I hear something else kind of coming to the right and kind of like snorting. And I'm like, what is going on? And this big buck comes down and just starts knocking the tar out of those two little bucks. I mean, it was pretty sad to see because after he got done with him, like they almost walked out with their tail down and their head down. And one of them went out the one way, the other one started walking right by me, and I'm like, man, I hope he follows that buck over here because that one buck literally walked right underneath my stand for I don't know, he's probably there for about 10 minutes, and I'm like, please do not blow or you know what I mean, bust me. And so he kind of just like I said, tail tucked between his legs, left. And so I'm watching that buck. I'm like, what is he doing? Like he still was over there. And I'm like, he stood there probably for 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden he started like walking towards me. I'm like, oh man, he's going to follow the same line. If he does the same line as that little buck, it's done because he went literally 10 yards by my stand. And then all of a sudden he jumps and takes off running back towards the thick stuff. And I'm like, there's no way he smelled me, seen me. And I'm like, what was that? Like, I thought maybe that little buck came back, but I'm like, he's not scared of him. What's he doing? And here he came back out, and I'm like, here we go again. So he literally walked within 20 yards of me, but was in some thick, nasty stuff, and stood there for I don't know. It was probably another 10 or 15 minutes at least. The whole time I'm just like, please come on, like literally that spot. If he did another 5 yard step out to the right, he was right in my line. And then what's he do? He spins around, goes back in again. I'm like, what is this? Like, he's acting so weird. But all of a sudden, I figured it all out. This doe pops out, and he was with her. He was tending her, and he had ran them other bucks off of her. So here she comes, like literally right down that same path as that little buck. She gets right underneath my stand, kidding 5 yards away from the bottom of my sticks. I'm like, oh, like she's gonna smell or you know what I mean, wind me. I'm like, this hunt's gonna be over for it, you know what I mean? And it had already been about 25, 30 minutes at this point, and I'm like, please do not blow this up now. And he just stayed off, like off the other side. And here he came, like he was coming to check on her. So he was coming off to the left a little bit. He walks right to the left of me about 40 yards. And I'm like, man, this is gonna be my spot. This is gonna be my spot. And he took off running through my spot, and then went over and stood clear over, like probably 60 yards away. And I'm like, oh man, this it's done. He's leaving for some reason. And so she just kept milling around. And at this point, we're about 45 minutes into this hunt, and I went from shaking to like like it's over, back to shaking. Like it was the coolest hunt I think I've probably ever had on a buck like that. That I literally laid eyes on him, and still 45 minutes later, still had eyes on him, but no shot.
And
And yeah,
I'm in Michigan getting
yeah,
text message.
yes, I'm texting like,
Huge buck.
yeah, yeah,
Ah, he walked away.
yeah. He's back.
He's back.
Yeah.
Chasing a doe.
Oh,
And I'm
man.
just sitting there on my couch at home. I think maybe I had to coach a soccer game.
I think so. He had a soccer game or
And
something.
and so I'm just sitting there like staring at my phone, like waiting for the next message to come through, you know?
Yeah. And then finally he turns and comes back towards her again. And I'm like, please, please, please. And this was at this point, I think an hour since the first time I'd seen him. It's been an hour, and he's been within 55 yards the whole time. And at one point 20 yards, and then back out. So here he comes, and he literally this window was crazy. I showed Steve and Greg the window that I was able to shoot him through. Was nuts, but I knew that was my only opportunity. Here he came, literally 2 steps into that window, stopped second, let it go, and then it's that whole like I literally like didn't move. Like I just sit there. I was shaking. I
You
called you
did,
then
yeah.
at
You
that
called
point.
me. You were still in the tree.
Oh gosh, and I'm like great. Like I don't think I could hardly even talk at that point. I'm like, I just shot a big one. He's like, was he down? I was like, I don't know. think I did a good shot, but like he took off running pretty good, and I'm like, I don't know at that point. You know how it is. Even if you feel like you did a good shot, until you put your hands on him, it's so yeah. I sat there probably 20 minutes, I think, because I was on the phone with you right for a while.
Yep. Yep. And then actually you ended up FaceTiming me for the blood trail. So I did the whole blood trail with you on FaceTime. That was awesome.
Yeah. So after I calmed down in the stand, like I said, it was a good 20 minutes. I got down, found my arrow, and then I called Greg. I'm like, all right, I'm going to start in here shortly. And once I did, we were walking. I'm like, all right, we were finding good blood. Like it was looking really good. And literally, like, we was FaceTime the whole way over there, right? Like when I found him. So, but that was I've never like seen a buck for, like I said, it was over an hour. We went back and looked at the time on the camera. And it was probably the coolest hunt ever. So I thank Greg for that all the time. I mean, he would have stayed one more day, but
yeah, that's just my luck. So, how big was that deer?
That one, the 137.
I was gonna say, I was thinking he was upper 130s. He was a nice buck, really nice buck. And then, so that was 2023.
Yep.
Just set the spot up. Magic happens. Literally basically the second day that we were there. And then I came back down in 24 last year, and this was our week hunt. So second week in November, and I'm like, I'm gonna go sit down in the creek bottom stand. And I hunted it a couple days.
Yeah.
I was going back and forth between that and the spot that I saw the really, really big buck, because that was the same year. And finally one morning I was like, I'm gonna go hunt that spot on the creek bottom again. It was 20-30 minutes into daylight, and I'd had a couple other deer go past me. It was definitely getting into the prime rut time. And I had a small buck. I had a couple does go by me. And then from behind me up in that thick stuff, kind of beyond the dam, I could hear footsteps, but I couldn't see what was going on. And all of a sudden he pops out like 20 yards away from me. Just beautiful buck. And again, instead of taking the normal trail, he cuts down and he tries to almost jump where the dam is at to be able to continue in the creek bottom. Well, that put him like, 7-8 yards away from me. He was crazy close. And I just bury a shot. I mean, buried this shot. There's blood all over the place. He runs maybe 25 yards.
Not even that. He was laying next to your stand.
and he piles up, and it's early. Like, it's really early. So I'm messaging everybody. I'm like, big buck down. I saw him go down. And Matt, Steve, and Ron, and Jay, and everybody were all texting back and forth. And Matt's still hunting at the other end of the property. So I'm like, it's a beautiful morning. I've got deer running all over the place. Matt, keep doing your thing. I'm going to sit right here and enjoy my sit.
And I'm sitting down there in my stand like, I'm getting down. I got to go see this deer. I'm going to go down there right now. And the cool thing is I sent Greg a picture of one of our cell cameras went off 25 minutes before that.
Yeah.
And it was that deer.
That's right.
And I'm like, was it this deer? And he's like, this deer. And I'm like, literally, he was on that camera, like, that's probably 80 yards from where you were hunting at.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? So, and he's like, just sit in the stand. I'm like, no. In my mind, I'm already packing up. I'm getting down. Like, I'm going to go put hands on this thing. But I did wait for a little while, I think.
And while he's waiting, probably one of the coolest things I've seen happen is a smaller buck comes in. He's kind of milling around down there in the bottom. And he's working back and forth. And I see him like scent checking. And all of a sudden he walks over to my dead buck that's laying there. And I had watched this little buck already get pushed off by another buck, right? So he's definitely he's a subordinate buck. He's not the monster in there. He looks at my buck on the ground, which is way bigger than he is, and he stands there, and all of a sudden he starts scraping the ground. And he's snorting, he's scraping the ground. And then he takes off like a bat out of hell and just gores the crap out of the side of my dead buck laying on the ground. And he backs up and he looks at it like, why aren't you doing anything? And he runs back in and he hits him again. And I was like, I'm going to have to scare this buck off of him. Like, it was insane the amount of testosterone in the woods that morning. I had never seen a buck do that to a dead deer. And so finally we get him run off. And I think by the time I was getting down out of my stand, Matt was already walking in. So
that little buck was just getting his licks back in, because I guarantee your buck had given him several before.
Yeah, I think he might have got his butt whipped a couple times.
Like, oh, now it's on.
Right. So yeah, that ended up being a beautiful, just a real nice, symmetrical, tall, heavy 8-point. I just shot him all day long. Like he was a really nice deer.
And he was even thicker than we thought once you got hands on him too. Like he was thick.
Yeah, he ended up scoring well, and that was November 13th. I turned around, drove home November 14th, and then shot my opening day Michigan buck with my gun on the 15th. So I had pretty good back-to-back. Well, not back-to-back, but 2 days apart hunts last year in 2024. But yeah, that
was a decent story on your Michigan too.
Oh yeah, that'll be another story. But that was crazy down there in that bottom, and I still think, that stand is what it is because of access.
Yeah.
If we went in the easy way, we'd blow deer out of there. We worked hard to make a good access point. That's like something that Matt and I, when we're together, get serious. Like we're trimming every last teeny tiny little branch that our body might hit on the walk in, or anything at head level that's going to poke you in the eyes in the dark. We're dragging our feet, getting leaves out of it. So you're walking in on bare dirt. Like our preparation for our entrance is probably more detailed than our preparation of actually setting the stand site. But I mean, we're talking back-to-back years. That stand has produced, and it will continue to produce.
Well, remember last year I had that other big buck in front of me too.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep, he came right in that same stand just up on the ridge, and we stared each other down for probably 15, 20 minutes, and he didn't give me an opportunity to get pulled back. He was on me the whole time, but he never busted it out. But he, didn't give me the opportunity to draw my bow back. So
it's just
good stand.
It's a great travel funnel is what it is. And if you can slip in and out of there without blowing every deer out of the woods, it makes it a whole game changer. But
actually, last year that same stand, that one came in, remember, Jason grunted. He was first time I heard it like a buck roar coming through the woods.
Yeah.
That's that same stand.
Yeah, I
don't think we'll hunt that stand anymore. I've seen the biggest buck of my life. I'm going to the other side of the farm.
Hey, I only said that once.
That's another story.
Okay, so when we were in Ohio one year, we're hunting a different property, one of Jay's properties. And this is when I know Steve hit on it a couple episodes ago, where Steve is in quote unquote Steve's stand. And I was hunting down below him in the field. And
that's kind of significant.
I got
below him.
Yeah. Well, I got labeled down here as the roaming gnome after a couple of years because I had a climber and was not afraid to use it. And
wish you would have forgotten to use it sometimes.
If I wasn't seeing deer, or if I was seeing deer, I was apt to climb down and move in the middle of a hunt. But
sometimes while he was even seeing deer, I think he would almost climb down while they were there, just so you think you get closer to them.
They were a little far away.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in this spot down below where Steve's stand is, and I send a message to everybody. I'm like, guys, I just saw the biggest buck of my life. And I'm not kidding. It was the biggest buck. Like, this deer had to be pushing 200 inches. And he's at the neighbor's field, walking the field edge, but he's walking away from me. And I got nothing but crap from these guys, probably for the next 2 or 3 years, because the next day they were all like, Greg, you going back to that same spot you saw the big buck? And I was like, no, I think I'm going to go try the other side of the property.
I'm going to go 300 yards, 400 yards the other side.
So yeah. Now the joke I hear from all of them is, I just saw the biggest buck of my life.
Yep.
Yep.
That's all right. Ackwright's got one too. The biggest scrape he's ever saw in his life. And then remember that story? He's seen the biggest scrape he's ever seen, and he's like, "It's the biggest one I've ever seen." I'm like, "Cool." I said, "Get down there tonight and hunt it." Then, no, I'm going to the other property. I'm like, "Okay." I said, "I'll go down there and hunt." And what happened? I shot the biggest buck, I think,
Yeah.
down there
That
that
was
night.
140,
So,
140 inch deer.
you know,
Yeah.
I'll take care of these deer for him.
Steve got to help you drag it out though.
Yeah, he did.
Instead of it being his deer, he just got to drag it up
I
the
don't think he was too happy with
the
that
hill.
He was happy for me, but not happy about his decision.
We've had some good times down here, that's for sure, and we've seen some big deer. So, it's cool. There's the terrain down here is so different than what we hunt in Michigan. You guys call them hills, we call them mountains. Like the first time, I don't even remember, when Steve's first deer.
Yep.
Like, how are we gonna drag this thing? Steve and I are like, oh my god, how are we gonna drag this thing? And then Matt and Jay just grab it and go whoop up the hill and load it in the back of the truck. And we were like, well, we're gonna be friends with these guys for a long time.
That's how we do in Ohio. We just grab these things and get them to the truck.
You know the other story that just came up about you? I was talking to Steve. And so we talk about getting the kids out hunting a lot, right? And we were maybe 2 or 3 years into coming down, and we're hunting over at Jay's property, and Jay's son Logan he's a little bugger at the time. Like he was maybe 12-ish.
Maybe.
I think it was his first year he could draw enough weight on his bow that he wanted to try to kill a deer with his bow.
I mean, he's 22-ish now, so yeah, he wasn't very old.
Yeah, so he's hunting with Dad, so him and Jay are hunting together, and we're all doing our thing, and all of a sudden we get a message that Logan just shot a deer, and we're all pumped. Like,
super excited.
It's middle of the rut, and I think all of us were like, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to get down because we want to go see Logan's deer. So here comes Matt, here comes me, here comes Steve. Jay and Logan are already at it. They might have already found the deer, right?
No, they were getting down. They were waiting on us too.
Yep. So we all kind of get together, and we're like, yeah, Logan, sweet, man. We're all excited. And
oh no,
we see the deer as we're tracking it. We see it laying up in the woods. And honest to God, Steve looks at me and he goes, "Did Logan shoot a fox?" And I'm like,
it was a little deer.
It was a little deer.
It was a little guy. It was good.
So we're like, we're trying to hype him, right? Like we're still just excited as can be, where we don't care the size of this deer. So we're like, yeah, Logan, man, this is sweet. This is awesome. He guts the deer, and somebody had gone and got the quad, and the quad is sitting like 20 yards away from us. Matt reaches down and picks up all 4 legs with one hand and just lifts this thing up and carries it to the quad and sets it down. Steve and I thought that was the funniest thing, and we're trying so hard not to laugh in front of Logan.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt just one hands this.
I guess I should have struggled a little bit.
Yeah, you could have asked for help or anything else. But
you guys got them legs.
I don't know if you've noticed, but our joke with Matt is, hey, why don't you take your shoulder pads off and stay for a while? Because this dude's shoulders are like twice as wide as any of ours. You give him a deer and make him walk up a hill, and he makes it look like a breeze, and I would have had 3 heart attacks and died probably. So yeah, if I shoot deer, I make sure I got Jay and Matt around, and
take care of it.
Yep. I'm good at carrying my backpack and my bow and meeting them at the truck. Oh, jeez.
Good stuff.
It
Always
is
a good time with all of us.
It is, and we're getting close to that time where we're all going to be coming back down and doing the big group hunt. Hopefully we can get a big group podcast. It'll be fun to reminisce on some of the old stories
There's a ton of them.
The past 11 years. So it's been fun. It's been a fun ride, that's for sure. So, well, we're mid-October-ish. I'm sure we got people getting excited for the rut. If you've had any success, we'd love to see your pictures. If you want to write in with any questions, comments for us to tackle on the show, love to have you do that too. We'd like to hear from you guys. So if you want to, shoot us an email at theproviderspodcast@gmail.com. Make sure you're checking us out on social media. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Music. You can listen to it, or not Apple Music, I'm sorry, on Apple Podcast app, Spotify, and you can always check us out at X, Facebook, Instagram. And if you want to look at our ugly mugs while we're sitting here talking, you can always check us out on YouTube too. So that is going to do it for this week.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys hanging out. Appreciate you talking to us, Matt.
Yep. Always a good time.
Oh, yeah, always something going on.
Yes, there is.
All right, you guys, we will catch you next week.